we wanted to inspire people to be like, you can do whatever you put your mind to. Mm-hmm. So I had this goal card. We meet Jeff and he's like, I'm doing this movie about interviewing people and it's a documentary and I want to interview you guys. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And mind you, I had already been documenting, like vlogging us doing stuff prior to meeting Jeff. And I'm vlogging the dinner sit down because I asked him prior, I was like, is it okay if I like record us talking? And he's like, yeah, cool. So I pull out my goal card and I tell him it. And he's like, holy crap, like his mission statement with NFT the movie and my goal were so in line.
NFTs are redefining the cryptocurrency landscape and taking the world by storm. This is Ashley Smith from Fame Lady Squad, and I want to welcome you to From the Blockchain. As leaders of an all-female avatar NFT project, we want to share our insight and industry knowledge with you. We want to empower more women to participate and dominate in the NFT space. So whether you're an early adopter or just a curious learner, we hope you join us to explore the exciting world of NFTs. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to From the Blockchain. This is your girl, Ashley Smith, sometimes known as Bored Becky on the internet. I'm very excited about today's show. I just had a wonderful conversation with a lovely couple who I've had the pleasure of meeting IRL in my early days in this Web3 space, Heidi and Joshua Gillman. They have been very present at many of the NFT related conferences over the last few years. I first met them at NFT NYC 2021 as they were filming NFT the movie. So they had spent a good year or so interviewing folks across the spectrum in the NFT space in the most exciting times of the early days of NFTs. And by early days, I really mean when people were starting to adopt. There was obviously a lot of hype, a lot of excitement, but they interviewed many people as they were building out their projects, their art, their creative businesses and all of these things. They've really seen now have amazing archives of the stories that were being told at that time. And of course, now there's probably folks who their stories look very different. So very interesting to kind of see where things were, where they're going. The NFT, the movie, has not been released yet. And so they will tell us a little bit in our conversation about their plans with that and to actually build out that story and to release the film when the time is right. But they're also working on some really fun things on their own. Something now that's called the First Family of Art and NFTs. And it's really sweet. They get their entire family involved in like creativity and art creation and participating in really the behind the scenes of what it's taken to be involved in this space over the last few years. And so you can catch them on social media, including TikTok, just to kind of see some fun things about with their kids and what they're doing and some of the art their kids have created, which is really neat. And of course, Joshua, we also mentioned he both of them are artists, but you can learn more about Joshua and some of his art and his story, kind of going into like a full-time regular career to really leaning into art and the two of them as a couple into innovation and changing where their life is really going and dreaming a bit bigger and you know, as many people did as COVID kind of started impacting our lives. I took a time out and said, hey, what do I really want to be doing? Where do I want my life to go? What do I want to be spending my energy on? And what am I passionate about? And so these two get into sort of that reflection a little bit. So there's really, I think their story speaks to the humanity of this kind of innovation and something in its early days and taking a leap forward and taking risks. So I think that's really neat. So I hope you enjoy the story. I hope you enjoy getting to know Heidi and Josh. They're just lovely people from Utah. So please make sure, if you haven't already, by the way, make sure that you are subscribed to From the Blockchain, whether you're listening to us on audio or watching us now on video. Please make sure you subscribe so you catch all of our future episodes and maybe dig into some of our past episodes because we've got some really great ones that we've shared over the last, man, it's almost been a year and a half, which is crazy to me. So I'm so proud of From the Blockchain what we've done. I do want to thank our key sponsor that's been supporting the show, Daz 3D. We talk about Daz 3D in terms of being a leader in Web3 strategy, but we also think it's important to share that they're also a leader in 3D technology and have been since 2000. Daz 3D empowers 3D artists and designers with a free comprehensive software suite and a massive 3D marketplace with over 5 million intercompatible assets for Daz Studio and other 3D applications. They offer hobbyists and professionals the tools they need to create high quality 3D renders and animations featuring customizable content that can be exported anywhere. So check out Daz 3D. You can just visit daz3d.com to learn more about them. We thank them for their support as we move from the blockchain forward. And that's it. Why don't we dive right into the show? Because this one's a little bit longer as we really just got into a really organic conversation. I hope you enjoy it. Welcome, Heidi and Joshua, to From the Blockchain. How are you two doing today, my friends?
Gosh, amazing.
Thank you.
I'm so excited to be here with you because you're like one of my idols in this NFT community. You and Danielle. I met you through Danielle, and Danielle, you just like want to put her in your pocket and carry her around. Like, I love her energy.
She's so sweet.
Both of you. Like, it wasn't just like coincidence that you guys came together. Like,
well, we met her in Miami.
Danielle.
And then we met Becky in New York, right?
Bored Becky, but it's Ashley.
That's okay. Our audience knows the dual name situation.
Yeah.
I don't. I just know Bored Becky, so it's perfect. Absolutely, yeah. We met her in New York. Yeah. Isn't that going on now? Is that NFT NYC going on now?
Yes. At the time of our recording right now, NFT Ignition is arriving in New York for NFT NYC. It's crazy because I feel like there's always an NFT NYC. Like it's just constantly.
Seriously, right?
It just happened.
It does. Yes.
They do it twice a year?
No.
I don't know really what their situation is.
Yes, it's weird because we were in there. Oh, okay.
That's why. And then, so they do like a few different
ones.
Locations.
Okay.
Yeah, I think their time of year has shifted through the last few years. So for our audience, I met Joshua and Heidi at NFT NYC 2021, which was in October, which would have been at that time a delayed conference because of COVID. And so I think they typically were doing it maybe in June, which they did the following year. But now it's April. So I don't know. I don't really know, but it's great. They're still rocking and rolling and lots of content. I'm doing mom life this year, so I'm not jumping on a plane for everything. But meeting you two at that conference was a wonderful experience. I saw you guys around. Like every single venue, you were constantly everywhere. I don't know how you managed to be in like 3 places at one time, all the time. Walking around with camera crew and clearly talking to people. And I was like, who are these folks? What are they doing? And you were actually present for our very first podcast recording, which we did live in New York, which was really cool. And Heidi, you were actually on our first episode. So if anyone wants to listen back and us talking about our story. So
it was so fun, by the way. Like, I look back at that moment and I'm like, it's so crazy and bizarre that y'all invited us and that we got to come and experience the starting of like your guys' story.
Yeah.
Like, and be there for that.
Your story was really cool.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. Well, I think what a special time that was. So many folks, I think, really leaning in to learn about like, what is Web3, which I think even that term was fairly new at the time, at least in terms of common language. And that was still probably amongst all of us degenerates that were hanging out in this space. But, I think people were very excited about what NFTs could do. And you talked to so many of them. So why don't we dive in and talk about, what it is that you've been doing over the last few years And then I want to dive a bit into the context, like who you are and what brought you to this space. But why don't we first just introduce what you've been doing in this space over the past 3 years? What were you doing when we met you in New York in 2021?
So we became part of the creative team behind NFTtheMovie. We partnered with them and invested in this company back in 2021 when we first met them at a venue, and they're actually located here in Utah. So it was a perfect partnership. It was somebody that was busting into this Web3 blockchain space that you can feel this tangible energy when you're around NFTtheMovie. There's no other way to explain it. But the people that have been attracted and magnified to NFTtheMovie have been the most amazing.
Oh, absolutely.
Like forward thinking,
like so fun,
creative people. And so, I mean, really NFTtheMovie kind of created so we had started like this crazy manifestation stuff and diving into like getting personal coaching and stuff. And when we met NFTtheMovie, like all of our little checklists of like, I want to travel, like NFTtheMovie check. Like we sent us to Miami twice. They sent us to NFT NYC twice. We went to California. Like we've been all over,
traveled a lot,
speaking to these people in Web3, and they're changing the world. And it's so exciting to see. And it's even more exciting to have like the people that first heard about NFTs in this space and have these little projects, and the ones that like stuck with it.
It's crazy what is gone now that was there when we started to interview them. There's projects that are totally gone now. You know?
And we have that archive. Like we have, so when we started with NFTtheMovie, so the whole initiative of this film is that we want to revolutionize the movie industry.
Right.
Like when you're making a movie now, you have to know somebody, or you have to, Netflix has to call you, or Hollywood, right? All those people. And now with NFTs and being able to distribute your movie or your film through this technology. However, when we were starting this film, like, knowing kind of about like the blockchain, and I don't know if most people know this, but like the file size that the blockchain can hold isn't that big, right? So we're
especially
making this
with
movie.
The platform.
Yeah. Like and in our minds, we're like, we're just going to keep like mining the gold, and the things will come as we go down the line, like as we need it. And so we just kept making the movie, thinking we'll find a platform that's going to be able to stream this high resolution movie that's like 40 minutes long, right? So I kind of got off because we wanted to make the movie and then submit it also to like film festivals. So in Utah, have you heard of Sundance?
Yeah, of course.
Everybody, right? It's like one of the
biggest film festival event that you can go to.
And it's right in our backyard.
Right.
And so we were like, that's been like a dream. Like, let's submit a movie to this film festival. So we did in 2021. We had one of our editors and videographers his name was Danny Drysdale. And he's done music videos for
The Killers. Just a cool guy.
Yeah.
Really
and so
cool guy.
Like we have this like high tech team. So we submit this movie to Sundance and it gets denied, right? Because NFTs, like what's an NFT? Like nobody knows back in 2021, like what an NFT is.
It was a crazy time.
And we weren't like crushed.
No.
It was like,
it was like a check mark. Like we did it. Now what's, next? For sure.
And it was a blessing in disguise, because now we're able to like go back and look at it and be like, hey, why was it not taken and take from it? So we have a feature film that nobody's ever seen. That's in our little archive, but we're going to edit it. And we really, when we present that to the world, we want it to be like our best foot forward.
Yeah, for sure.
But
cool.
like what's spin off from this is the first family of art and NFTs, because me and Josh are the creative team, and Jeff Crane is the CEO of NFTtheMovie, and he's been our biggest fan. Like, he's loved our story from the beginning. He's been like, you guys are crazy. Like, you're just crazy people that need to, like, that are inspiring people to do what they love. Because initially we got into this blockchain world because of art.
Yep.
Let's talk about that a little bit. And by the way, I think you guys are so fun. I know that you're super engaged in like the social media side of things as well. You're sharing a lot of behind the scenes stuff and family fun stuff and art stuff all on your TikTok, which I know we'll make sure is linked in the show notes. But so let's talk a little bit about that, because what I saw was, Josh, you, I think, decided to quit your full-time gig, right? Which I don't know what you were doing prior to this. So why don't you tell us a little bit that, and then how you kind of leaned into NFTs and Web3 to begin with.
Absolutely. So I've been painting art since 2007. And finally in 2020, I think it was 20, was it? Has it been 2 years?
Like after COVID.
Anyway, so when COVID kind of started to happen, I decided, hey, I want to do this full time. So I was working for the Church of Jesus Christ and Latter-day Saints for nine years. And I decided, well, I mean, I've asked years prior.
For the 9 years, every year he would be like, I want to quit my job.
Can I quit my job?
And I was like, no.
She's like, no.
We need health insurance and we have a house. And
we have like bills, right? And so finally I was just like, okay, we're just going to do it. So in 2021 or end of 2020, I just decided to do that full time. And we just kind of never looked back. We just kind of went for whatever felt right. And we just kind of decided, let's do what we really love and see what happens. Even if, say like a year from then, I had to stop doing it and get a full-time job and do that kind of, just go for whatever it is that you're passionate for.
Well, I think in 2020, it really made people step back.
It did.
And think like, what are we all, like, we're all in this hustle and bustle. And then when you shut everything down and you had to like just stay home, or you could only do certain things, it really, for me, I was thinking of myself as like this 90-year-old woman that would look at her husband and be like I prevented him from living his dream. Because of health insurance. Like, that's crazy.
Because of health insurance, because of an income that you knew you were going to get every single month, which is a beautiful thing to have. But in the long run, if you're passionate about something, you have to go for it in a sense, right? Even if it's scary.
We could tell like that we were like, we're an odd couple, like where we can be together 24/7 and like we work together, we raise our kids, we literally probably have a codependency issue. But
in a functional codependency, I think, can be all right.
Don't judge us. But like we just like we were dying inside a little bit. Like I had these 2 little boys at home, and when Gunnar was 2,
he's 6 now.
He's 6 now. So when he was 2, well, even when I was pregnant, Josh was like, we have a 3-car garage. Like, I'm going to cut that in half and I'm going to make an art studio in our garage. No. He did not say art studio.
No, I did. I said her.
Yeah. So he was like, Heidi, so I don't know if you know this about me, but like I'm a really successful Etsy shop owner, and I make these really fun
beautiful
little
tutus and outfits. Yeah.
And so that's how we sustain a lot of our bills and stuff. But he was like, I'm going to make you this shop in the garage. And I was like, that is so sweet.
Half.
Yeah, let's do it. And so he got it done, and he was like, I think this is going to be my art studio. And I was like, okay, yeah. I see.
It's kind of half and half now, right?
Yeah, no, it's like quarter
half.
Yeah.
Quarter, 3 quarters. Yeah.
But it was a beautiful thing. It turned out to be beautiful.
So you decide at this time, which I think a lot of people, were reflecting around that time.
Right.
What do I want to be doing? Am I happy? Is this how I want to be, spending and dedicating my time and life to, like, for the foreseeable future, et cetera, et cetera. And so you start creating art, which, by the way, Josh, your website's lovely. You've got some lovely art shared there, so everyone can check it out. I think, Heidi, some of your pieces are there as well.
Yeah, you started art. Yeah.
So very cool. And so you decided to get into that. So how did the Web3 side, like, how were you introduced to NFT the movie to begin with? Was this just someone through your community, because they live in the same state? Like, what did it mean to you when you were introduced it and invited to be brought on to the team there?
I love, like, I would love for you to hear your view of it.
So absolutely, this doesn't happen very, very much. So one day she was like, "We need to have a VR gallery to show your art," and I was like,
AR, VR.
AR, yeah, AR, VR. And I was like, "What are you talking about?" I had no idea. And so I'm just painting art, like realistic physical stuff. And she's like, "No, you can get a gallery and I have someone who can help build that and you can show your art." And I was like, whatever you want to do. And she's like, "Okay, so it's going to be like $2,000 to make it." I was like, "Okay." I just quit my, job. And she's like, "Let's just spend $2,000 for." Anyway, so we did that, and that's just kind of catapulted us into the Web3 about how NFTs worked and really how online presence for people to see the art that we were trying to make works and to, show it in certain ways. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what made us think about, there's so much more in online and Web3 that we can show it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Super cool.
I'm always the one to answer that question.
Yeah, she is.
By the way. So
she's never
really
said, fun. Go ahead.
It's fun to hear his view on things. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly how it happened.
It was.
It is. Well, so my brother, he works at Levi Strauss as one of the #1 marketing people for the company. And so I went to him, I'm like, "You're this massive brand. What are you guys doing?" And they're like, "We're doing augmented reality." Mm-hmm. So I'm like, "Well, we need to do whatever big brands are doing. To get," because anytime somebody walked into Josh's studio, because we have the whole walls are filled with art, that you walk out with a piece. Nobody walks in there and doesn't buy one. And so I'm like, you need to get it in front of people, real, they can feel it. Mm-hmm. And that was the closest thing, because galleries at that time in 2020 are shutting down. They're closing their doors.
And they've never experienced AR, VR. They've never, most galleries didn't do that. And so
we got declined from galleries over and over and over. So we were like, we're going to make one.
Make our own gallery.
And we'll accept the ones that that feel the same way that we do. We'll help showcase art of other artists.
Cool. So you started bringing in and showcasing other people's artwork.
Yeah, it's always been because I was rejected so many times, because my art's very weird and it's not something that a lot of people would expect. But because of that, and I felt so passionate about it, because of that, I wanted other artists that kind of felt the same way. I wanted to try and help them in a sense, however I, could. And so I wanted to showcase people's art that felt like they weren't getting the attention that they really deserved, because there's so much beautiful art that doesn't get seen just because they don't know how to show it. And so I wanted to help them.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So is this something that's still active today, this gallery?
We have the gallery. I have it in my little archive, the augmented reality. But because of the technology, it was hard to kind of get into. You know how with Web3, you have to sign in for a account to go here, and then right. So we have it archived, and it's one of our prized possessions.
It's still something we truly want to do.
It's actually an NFT. We made the gallery with his art in it.
Yeah.
And you can go in and spin it around, and it's you can
see all the art.
Yeah.
But we definitely want to still provide and try and help other artists show their, but we're not really
that's why
in that space yet.
NFT the movie was so important.
So important to us.
So when then how we got introduced to NFT the movie is through the community. Like I'm on Facebook in these communities that I'm like, we want to build this gallery, and I meet somebody. And then one of my friends that's a realtor here in Utah was like, I have this friend that's going to do like an NFT movie. Like, let me introduce you. And I was like, okay, yeah, whatever. Yeah, like cool. Like we're doing art, but like he's doing something cool in NFTs. Let's just meet him. Yeah. So like 2 times we try to get together with Jeff and it falls through. And the 3rd time we get together and he like drives up in his NFTtheMovie mobile, like his big red convertible. And we're like, oh my gosh, like this is it was
fun. It was fun. It was like I felt like this is the start of something really incredible.
So prior to that when he quit his job, I'm not even like a week later, he comes home or he's like, Heidi, there's this $5,000 personal coach that I want to spend for us to like catapult our.
Well, I wasn't qualified to quit my job yet.
And he already had. So we were like.
So I went, oh, she said yes. So I quit my job. I'm like, okay, I need some help.
So we get this personal developing course and they tell you to write down, you have this goal card, and we personally have one now that we read every day. You write it down and it's something that you can fantasize about, right? Like something that just makes you just emotionally feel happy inside. And mine, I didn't know what it was because I was a mom. I was like just a mom, really. Like that's all my persona was.
And your Etsy shop.
And my Etsy shop. And
yeah, for sure.
Super, super LDS. Like I didn't know who Heidi was. And so this course pushed me into being like, what do you love, Heidi? Like, what do you want?
Who are you?
What do you want in life?
Yeah.
And I finally, after a few days of asking myself that and fantasizing, is that I wanted to make a documentary about it just to inspire people. Josh and I have both come through addictions and alcoholism and like come to a part where now we like have a healthy relationship with these things. And we wanted to inspire people to be like, you can do whatever you put your mind to. So I had this goal card. We meet Jeff and he's like, I'm doing this movie about interviewing people and it's a documentary and I want to interview you guys. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And mind you, I had already been documenting, like vlogging us doing stuff prior to meeting Jeff. And I'm vlogging the dinner sit down because I asked him prior, I was like, is it okay if I like record us talking? And he's like, yeah, cool. So I pull out my goal card and I tell him it. And he's like, holy crap, like his mission statement with NFT the movie and my goal were so in line that it was like, he was like, I'm going to strap you guys to the hood of my car and take you to Miami. Like you guys have to come so we can interview you and get you guys in the movie. And we really literally left the lunch, booked our tickets. And I'm like, oh, shit, Josh, we have kids.
We have to have
like somebody needs to watch them. So I'm like calling my mom, like, Mom,
we're going to Miami.
She's like 70, so she's not also like that young, but
that was
my parents have been the biggest supporters in our dreams. And they were like, yes, go, like we support you. So they watched our kids for 5 days, and we went to Miami. And that was the shitcoin event, and they were having the Bitcoin event there simultaneously. So we got to meet a lot of amazing people that we were like, this is our tribe. These are our people. Like they're forward thinking. They want to like make a better future for the planet, right? As a mom, like technology scares me. It made me like I don't know, makes me feel kind of dumb sometimes. When I got into NFTs, and this is for all the moms out there that are watching this, like this stuff is so, once you dive into it, it's so easy to understand that because it's going to form the future for your kids, that you will want to partake in it so that you can be in the forefront and molding the way that this technology goes. I'm getting goosebumps.
And it's just started, guys.
It's just started. Instead of being afraid of the technology, I started to step in front of it and just did my research and would watch little videos or follow people that I felt very trustworthy, right? Because a lot of this technology, you have to know who to trust, like who to align with. And it became a second language to me. Like it's something that I literally just fell in love with. I'm like, this is the future. And this is how my kids are going to
see the world.
Our kids understand NFTs more than my parents do. Like, my little 5-year-old made his own. Now. He's 6 now.
Yeah, but when he made it, it was 5. Sorry,
but he was 5. This is so my Gunner monster is a little Gunner, like a little monster that Gunner created at preschool.
He drew.
And this was something I had nothing to do with. So I was like, this is totally his. Like I didn't help him. Like it was something that was totally his that I wanted to frame in time and in space for me. And so I was like, what better way than to do it on the blockchain so that I can see his progression over time. And what came out of that was beautiful, that people were like, I want one. And so we made a little collection of 10 Gunner monsters, me and him. Some of them we put with music, some of them we animated, and he gets on the phone and he like
creates his own little beat, his own little music.
Or like he'll like add little lights or whatever, because like this is the future for our kids. Like they know how to use technology much younger than you would ever expect, and they get it. So making that little collection for him kind of catapulted into like the Gunner Monster collection, and now Gunner Monsters they're going to be the most collaborated collection in the world, because he wants to be in all these little other collections that just kind of give a nod to the younger generation that like, hey, we're here. And
so you've got the whole family now involved.
Whole family.
Titan, he paints and we make NFTs out of those. And we try to get them all involved in a way that will help them when they get older.
Well, and to like, what NFTs have done for some people, like it's changed their lives.
Yeah.
And I like, it's not good to like bet on NFTs. Like you just never know. You have no idea.
It's like anything else.
But with my kids, like I want them to know this technology.
Well, especially Web3, right?
Yeah. It's going to benefit them.
So let's take a look at what's going on. First of all, shout out to the realtor in your life. That's my background. They always know everybody, right? They know everybody. They introduce you to this guy.
For real, that was so crazy.
Really cool. And so you get rolling with NFT the movie. And I want to send you guys some flowers, because you're talking about all these sort of experimental things, like you're thinking about a virtual, like the gallery, the AR VR, and I think part of what people get nervous about with new tech is like not knowing what the end is going to look like, right? So what I'm hearing from you guys is like this journey that you've been on and navigating and probably pivoting. I know that's been me. Like I did step as far out of my business as possible. Like I'm not practicing. I don't sell. I still have my license, but I don't do anything. and I think that's been the journey for so many people along the way, is like, you don't know until you do, right? You don't know until you do and give things a try, when there's no road. Like the term roadmap is so overused, when really there's been no roadmap for any of us.
So true. That's
right. So and I love that you're introducing this to your kids, and it's really about the fun of it, the technology, the learning, where it might all go. And I know we've mentioned this on a show. I don't remember which episode it was, but people talking about putting their kids' work on chain, just as almost like a time capsule type of thing. And what's so neat about that is it's something that could just be like a memory, or if your kid ends up growing up and becoming some notable person, there's this thing on chain for when they're young, it could be a collectible. Like there's all these different ways we can decide to use blockchain, I suppose. But I would like to just with that in mind, this kind of like going through the journey, not necessarily knowing where it's going to take us. Hearing, of course, we're now in 2023, and probably some of the folks that you've spoken to for NFT the movie are now doing completely different things. But are there any standout, not necessarily naming names or whatever, but any anecdotes? Like how many groups of people did you talk to, for example, with that movie? Do you know offhand?
Hundreds.
Yeah.
We actually made this kind of like the top 100 NFT collection people that we solidified kind of a partnership with, that down the line we would do like a movie poster with. And we have 100. Out of those 100, we like 50 of them, we already have their posters like in the chamber ready to like put out. Why haven't we? We haven't felt like the community is there, but the world is not here yet, right? Like we're going with our gut. We could have launched a dozen collections by now. NFT the movie hasn't made one NFT. The only thing that they've done is the movie Knots, which was with one of the people that we interviewed, Jeremy No F's is his name, and he's done a collection with Eminem, and he has a Gremlins little collection too that's done really well. Standout people, I don't know if you've heard of like NFT Pay or NFT Shark. So they have converted it to make it easy for you to purchase NFTs with a credit card. We were there in California, Mike Kervinsky, I think I'm saying his name right.
Yeah.
But we actually stayed an extra day because he was like, please stay. I'm on my way there. I will bring you guys breakfast. Like, I need to tell you my story. And we have his story before he launches this massive platform. And then we have one of him talking about it. Now it's a multi-million-dollar platform. And we have his interview in Puerto Rico of like his journey. Cool. So we have like some before and afters that are so fun. We're not a movie production. Like we've never made a movie. And Jeff Crane, our CEO, has never made a movie. And so we're very methodical and strategic in the way that we're going to present this to the world. And what we're going to do is kind of push the first family of art and NFTs, our little documentary, forward to kind of pave the way. What we're going to be doing is, if you've heard of Rare Tech, it's RAIR, Rare Tech. And what they do is now stream movies. What it is basically you own an NFT, it unlocks the streaming capabilities behind that NFT if you own it. So what it does is verify. Gotcha. And then it will stream the movie. Yeah. And so what we're going to be doing is kind of what like Netflix or HBO Max, what they would do with a little reality series is they would release it in episodes. We'll be doing that in NFTs. Cool. Through Rare Tech. Cool. And so it's kind of the first, nobody knows about but we're kind of the content creators that are taking our power back. Web3, I love how you describe Web 2 and Web 3 and educate people and how this is us owning our content. Web 3 is saying, do you want to support me? Let's support me, not the platform, right? I'm gonna so basically owning one of our NFTs helps support us to continue to make our content.
Cool. So just to make sure I understand. So earlier in our conversation, you mentioned at least with the blockchains we're working with today, the capacity for, say, storing big files is just like not there on chain. And so what I'm hearing you say is using this technology, it's an unlock to the streaming. So you're storing that access on chain, right?
Yep, exactly.
And so cool. And so does that mean then that the platform, it's like a purely token gated streaming platform? Like I'm just trying to let people at home listening kind of understand how this really works and like how maybe it might go. Because I think what we're talking about right now is something probably still early days, but envisioning like what it can become. Yeah.
Okay, so it is a platform right now. So initially it was that you would have to own that NFT. You'd have to go and buy it to unlock this content. They've kind of pivoted, like we've all done, and now it's a free platform where they're helping people get their wallets, so that you that in itself is like a congratulations, you have passed level 1.
Yes.
And so once you get your and I think it's come a long way.
Way easier.
Yeah, like from when we probably started our wallet, I think it took me like 3 weeks to like really get my wallet because I
figure that out.
I didn't understand the
language.
The language of it. And so what this platform has done now is it's free. So the tokenized will come later, but this is just where you'll go and you'll get your wallet, and then you'll be able to see these pieces of content that will unlock for you currently right now. So kind of just get you familiar with it. But if you can imagine Netflix, I think eventually what will happen is when you go to watch one of the episodes, it will be purchase this NFT for 99 cents. And once you do, now you own part of that episode. You own part of that movie on the blockchain. And so like if you say you wanted to resell it, you could, but therefore you were able to like support them in the forefront, but then get to see the movie on the after, but then you're like part of them, right? Like
and then whatever else we introduce to them, they'll be able to get.
Does that make sense? So I think there'll be like a little button on Netflix that'll say NFT, and you'll be able to go in and purchase, say, I don't know, like art from artists that are doing a documentary, and it will unlock some of their content.
Yeah.
Right. So there's things that you can add. There can be additional benefits potentially. When you're talking, I also think about almost like watch to earn or share to earn potential. Like there's probably things in there that could happen that would take, people that know way more than me to like make it happen. I also think about Netflix's, challenge of like password sharing. I think that they're like streaming platforms could be thinking about this digital identity connection to kind of ensure that their customers are their customers and not necessarily like just out there distributing their access. Anyway, so that kind of goes a bit beyond what we're talking about here. But I'm just hoping our audience thinks about where this might all go, especially when you eliminate that friction of like, needing to buy crypto and needing to set up a wallet and needing to do this. Like there's some of these things are going to become so seamless and part of our daily lives, and people aren't even going to know that's what they have, I think.
Exactly. And wasn't it like in Reddit or something I read probably 6 months ago, but like over 1 million people in Reddit had purchased an NFT without knowing it was an NFT. Do you remember that? And I was like, yes.
Yeah, very cool.
Like
very
it's
cool.
Really happening.
And so like I just want to make sure we don't miss this concept of the first family of art and NFTs. So tell us a little more. Just I want to make sure our audience knows what that is.
Okay. So like I said, that was my dream. That was so I have 2 years of just filming our journey of like us going to these carnivals and fairs, like hauling our
trying
art
to
around.
Sell the art, right?
Yeah, of just like grinding.
Truckloads of art, setting
or
it up.
even just going to Newport California and driving loads of art there, not selling one piece, and coming back and being like, it's okay. Like you're gonna have these struggles, you're gonna have these pitfalls, but that's what makes like the little and the big wins like so much bigger. And so we have 2 years of this documentary of us that we already have an editor lined up that's super excited to put it together. And we're going to be doing the first episode. So it'll be kind of a recap of like our lives and what we've been doing, but then kind of dive into just the first little piece of our lives and like our journey with NFT the movie. Like what we didn't tell you is when we came back from Miami, Josh was like, I think we should invest in NFT the movie. Like you go to these, you witnessed it. Like NFT the movie has this tangible energy that there was people that stood in line for 4 hours to be interviewed when we were in Miami. And people that would come up and like, oh, you know them? Like, do you think we can get interviewed? Like you could just tell there was some magical thing about NFT the movie. So when we came home from Miami, we made a call to Jeff and we said, can we invest? We pulled out his 9 years of 401k and invested every penny that we had into NFT the movie, thousands of dollars, I'll just say, and then did sweat equity for the movie. And in that year that we went to all these events and like our dreams are coming true. They're like flying us to these events and we're getting to meet incredible people in the space and become like when you meet people, like when you go to these events, it's life-changing because you become friends immediately. Like you have a connection because you guys have you have this higher priority in life to like make the world a better place. And so it just connects you.
It does, yeah.
And so we put everything we have into NFT the movie, and we believe that it will be revolutionary in so many ways that we're just pivoting. Right now, we're just like dancing and having fun with it. So,
well, a lot has happened with NFTs in the past year.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about that, like the evolution of that maybe first year to now.
Yeah, no, that's the crazy part. So like with our movie that we submitted for the first year that we have, that's what we're going to go back in and be like, okay, so we interviewed these Bored Apes that they probably have 2 or 3 Bored Apes and they're worth a few $100,000 each. What you didn't know is now today they're worth 40,000 or 50,000, and they're saying we'd never sell them, never sell. You know what I mean? Like, so now we have this arcade like event and in a movie that we want to go back and do voiceovers and really let the people know what has happened since then.
Since just a year. That's all it's been.
Because it's been like this, like, and on my faith, I don't know if anybody else's, but my faith has been so strong. And then there was a time like after New York that it just like
for sure
plummeted.
We didn't know it was gonna like crypto, NFTs, and Web3. Like it was all kind of going down a little bit, and you didn't know, but
we were still strong.
But the people that we met, like there was still a lot of passion there. So just keep on going, and you have to pivot. But it's a passion of wanting to change your own life, but then also help other people see it. So important to us.
Are there any themes that you took out of your hundreds and thousands of conversations that are themes that you think are important to share just with the world in general, and whether it's themes of being a dreamer or thought leadership or even something more tangible and technical? Like, is there anything that struck you that threaded some of these folks together?
Yeah, that's good.
For me, it would be exactly like it was that all these people were coming together because they believed in a decentralized world, that there was something wrong with our information coming from a central location. And up until 2020, I didn't even know there was a problem, right? Like we kept hearing like fake news or like your
data's being stolen.
Yeah,
well,
we're like
with
what?
Brittany Kaiser, who's in our film.
I don't know. Do you know who she is?
Have you heard of her?
The name rings a bell, but I actually am not sure why.
So she did the documentary Look Up the Great Hack.
Oh, okay.
She was like the whistleblower on Facebook.
Yeah. Okay.
And she's one of the first people that we interviewed about
like own your own data, like know where your personal information is going. And so that's where the decentralized kind of came in. And it's like these companies are stealing our data and they're trying to sell us on stuff and we don't even know it. And they've been doing it for decades. And so owning your own data and being able to have your art or what you're proud of, and no one can steal that, and it's yours, and they're not making a profit off of it that you don't know about.
That's been a huge change.
Absolutely.
But I think it's like, for me, like the theme I've gotten from it is that technology is not scary. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Like if you're interested in it, like there's kids out there that are making so much money by just introducing them to the basics of crypto, because they've been equipped. Like for some reason they've been saved for this day and age. Sure. And like, don't be scared of this technology. Like dive into it. You will be immersed, like in love. I don't know if you were, I feel like you were the kind of the same way. Like when you found out about Web3, it just like, it was like a language. You're like, I want to know more.
It feels like home.
Because as an artist, like the biggest thing that attracted us to the NFT was that art is sold and resold and resold, and the artist has never gotten a profit from that at all. And with the NFT technology and building in a smart contract, you will always get a percentage off of that piece of art, which has always been so amazing to me, is that you're always giving the original creator a nod.
Yeah.
A thank you.
Yeah.
You know?
No matter what kind of art. It doesn't have to be paintings. It can be video.
Just,
it can be
content. Yeah.
And that might be the takeaway too. I think art has had such a central place in this conversation. And I think that that's so good and has been very important. And it's been really important for artists. But in this generation of content creation in general, where that's like every young person wants to be a YouTuber or a TikTok star or whatever it is, content creation is on the forefront now, and creativity is on the forefront, even as AI enters and makes certain things so much easier and can even help us ideate and come up with things. It's that like those folks who know what will resonate and what might be interesting to whether it's a small group, niche group, or a large base of people. It's that content creation matters, and I think that this is we haven't really seen that yet. That like idea of owning your content. Like it's there, the underlying theme is there, but we haven't quite seen it play out yet. But I think that's where we can anticipate seeing that shift, where this activates next, especially as the technology becomes easier to use and isn't so high friction. So that's cool and interesting. So I'm glad you brought that up. I
love that you brought up AI because that's been the next evolution of NFT the movie. And what I highly, 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 highly recommend to anybody out there listening to the podcast is go to ChatGPT and just ask a question, like something that you're working on. I don't know if it's like you're owning your own business or like something that you would want to go and ask a professional. Like go type it in and you're going to your mind is going to be blown because of the information that you get back from these AIs. And that's kind of where our shift will be in 2023 is now our CEO is doing AI Mondays here in Utah and AI incubators, which is incubating these AI companies and tools I'm starting to learn like all these AI tools for marketing for this AI stuff, and then for NFT the movie, and for Joshua paintings, and for the first family of NFT the movie. And it's been really fun because I found this, the first thing with AI that I ever came in contact with this app that was like, hey, this little cute drawing of your kids, you can turn into this crazy 3D image, right? With just like a picture. And so I bought the app, and my 6-year-old now he draws his little monsters, and then he goes and turns them into these AI things. And so that will be his next collection, is that he's making these AIs, but he's going to have these original little prints of what it was originally that it will come with.
Oh, so cute.
It's so fun, and it's so easy to do. AI, I think if I was introduced to it now before everything else, I would be a little bit intimidated, but it's actually the perfect thing to introduce for everything else that we've been working on in the crypto community.
AI is one of those things that can help eliminate a lot of friction, right? Yes. As long as you're open to just playing with it and understanding what's out there. It's funny. I appreciate the segue because I was supposed to ask you our ChatGPT generated question as we have our little AI segment. You've touched on some of this stuff, so I appreciate you. I don't want to ask you to be repetitive, but maybe what I'll do is if there's anything in addition to what we've talked to, okay? So what ChatGPT asked me to ask you guys is, in what ways do you see the integration of Web3 technology impacting the film industry, in particular when it comes to traditional modes of distribution and consumption? So I know we touched a bit on the streaming. If there's anything in addition to what we've said, would love to hear your thoughts on it.
Well, I think it's giving the people that have never made movies before in their lives, it's giving them the ability. It's giving them the ability to make movies and distribute it, and not be so afraid to make the movie and then be like, well, who's going to pick it up, and who's going to, and then that movie never be made, or that story never be told. And so the technology, I think, is going to benefit a lot of those little creators that would never have been seen before, be seen by the right people.
Sure. And the big Hollywood films and creators are going to do the same.
And
it's going to explode.
We've had like so many introductions to Netflix and people that know Netflix people, and we're just like, I don't think they're ready yet. Like, I don't think they're there yet. And kind of what you've touched on with the identifying, like just that alone, once Netflix understands what this could do for their platform, it's going to make a lot of people mad, because now we can't get free Netflix.
Right? Now we got to pay for
but it's $9. Like, come on. Like, it's nothing. But I think it's going to revolutionize the movie industry and just make it a fair playing field.
Maybe my next question, and I know we have to wrap up, but I do wonder, for those who are interested, and let's say, just for the sake of this conversation, more than just say social media content, like someone who's interested in creating film-like content, even if it's shorts or like medium length, media, if they're just learning about Web3 right now, and they're hearing you say this is an avenue to help someone like you, really have a place, like what would you suggest they do next to either learn what their options are, or to meet, say, folks that can help them connect the dots? Like what would you say they should do?
Well, for sure, like engage in communities like this. Like there's so many. That's the number one reason I was even attracted to the NFT community, is that information is free. Like people want to share what they know and not be like, well, it's going to cost you this, or this. Like when we got into this community, it was like, download this app and this app and this. And I'm like, well, you're just going to tell me like what I'm like paying you to do so I can learn it myself? And they're like, yeah. Like, so it would be like engaging in community and asking the questions, because the information is free and it's out there. The second thing is like have a buyable product. Like the videographer we worked with in Miami, he has this amazing, he's called the Drone King of Miami. And he's blowing up on Instagram. His name's Matthew Hoyos, Hoyos. But he does these drone images of cities. Right now he's just in Miami. And I think he did
Texas.
Yes, a few different ones. But like what he can do with this technology now is he has this, how many film industries or people in the film go to make a movie and they're like, oh man, if I could just have like a really killer drone footage of the city that I'm doing this movie in. Like now he can totally sell it and give him the rights to it.
Right.
Over and over and over. So like maybe as like you're getting into this field, like think of like how you can sell your content, like how it can be used by other people.
Like that. Yeah. There's so much information out there. You just have to ask.
So that being said, if people want to follow you both and the projects you're working on, what would be the best places for them to find you?
Definitely.
I would say,
well, Joshua Paintings. That's on all platforms.
Yeah.
So,
and that will link you to all of. I mean, we know we're complicated. We have so many things, so many projects, and so many balls in the air. But that's another thing that you should always, I feel like, be doing is you should never have your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
Like always, like Gary Vee says, like you should try everything.
Try everything.
Do everything, because how do you know you won't like it if you don't do it? So we have lots of platforms. We love TikTok. We love Instagram and Facebook. We're starting to kind of blow up on Facebook and Instagram. So yeah, just the First Family, spelled out First, F-I-R-S-T,
family.
My dyslexic family of art and NFTs.
Yeah.
And we're just going to share our story and keep going. And our biggest passion is to show our kids to live their own dream, to make their own path. Like society says, and maybe even I was programmed.
Right? We still are.
Like I'm starting to try to unprogram my thoughts, but like I'm going to love you no matter what you decide to do in life. And you're amazing and beautiful, and do what you love, because then people can really connect with you.
That's a great way to end the show, I think. It's a wonderful note. Everyone,
so fun.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us on From the Blockchain, chatting with Heidi and Joshua Gillman with their entire journey here, from pre-NFTs to NFTtheMovie to now the First Family of Art and NFTs and all the things in between. So thank you to you both for joining us, chatting with trailblazers and thought leaders in the space. And we hope to catch up with you again soon and see where you take it all. And I can't wait to watch the movie when it's ready. So please keep us in the loop, because we'll want to make sure to share. All right, everyone. Take care. Have an awesome day.
Thank you.
See you guys. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on From the Blockchain. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you have any questions about today's episode, please send us a message so we can answer it. If you want to learn more about Fame Lady Squad or how you can get involved with NFTs, please visit our website or join our growing community on Discord. We genuinely believe we couldn't do the things we do without the support of our community and listeners like you. So thank you. We'll see you again soon.